Welcome to the short introduction to the CAD Translator. In this video, I will show you step-by-step how to set up the plugin, manage your translation database, and then translate text in an AutoCAD drawing. After installation, you will see a new tab in AutoCAD called CAD Translator. This tab gives you access to the most important functions of the plugin, such as administration, synchronization, and the translation of your drawing. First, we open the administration. This is where the basic settings of the CAD Translator are configured. The program language setting defines the language in which the CAD Translator interface is displayed. This setting only affects the user interface of the program. It has no influence on the languages into which your drawings will be translated later. In the Translation Database section, you select which database the CAD Translator should use. This database contains all languages and translations that will later be used for your drawings. The storage location can be on your local computer or on a network drive if multiple users are supposed to work with the same database. Using the plus button, you can create a new database at a desired location. This is useful, for example, if you are using the CAD Translator for the first time, or if you want to create a separate database for a specific project. If you want to use automatic translations via DeepL, you need to enter your DeepL API key here. Without this API key, the CAD Translator can still work with manually maintained translations from the database, but automatic translation via DeepL will not be available. The question mark takes you to the DeepL instructions, where it is explained where you can find your API key. Make sure to treat the API key confidentially and do not show it publicly. In the administration, you will also find the Excel export and Excel import functions. With the Excel export, you can export your current translation database to an Excel file. With the Excel import, you can import a previously exported or externally created Excel file back into the translation database. In the Language Management section, you define which languages should be used in your translation database. The table can be edited directly. To add a new language, double-click the first empty row, enter the name of the language, and confirm the entry using the plus symbol to the left of the row. Existing languages can also be edited by double-clicking them. If a language is no longer needed, it can be removed using the delete symbol to the left of the corresponding row. After they have been created, the languages are also available in the Translation Management section and later when translating the drawing. In the Translation Management section, you maintain the actual text that the CAD Translator should later recognize and translate in your drawings. The table consists of the languages that were previously created. Each row contains a text and the corresponding translations in the respective language columns. Here too, editing is done directly in the table. This allows you to extend, correct, or clean up your translation database at any time. If a DeepL API key has been entered in the administration, you can also use DeepL in the Translation Management section. Using the Translate with DeepL button, you can show or hide the DeepL settings. First, you select the source language. This is the language or the column whose texts are used as the basis for the automatic translation. Then you select the target language. The new translations will be entered into this column. Additionally, you select the appropriate DeepL language. Since the languages in the CAD Translator can be freely defined, you need to manually specify which DeepL language belongs to the selected target language. With the Overwrite Existing Translations option, you define how the CAD Translator should handle translations that already exist. If this option is enabled, all existing texts in the target language are replaced by the new DeepL translations. Otherwise, only empty fields are filled in, and existing translations remain unchanged. Once all settings have been configured correctly, you start the process using the Translate button. The CAD Translator then sends the text from the source language to DeepL and enters the results into the selected target language. Afterwards, you can review the generated translations and correct them manually if necessary. To make it easier to add text to the translation database, the ribbon contains the Import Text function. When we click this function, a settings dialog opens. Under Language, we select the language under which the imported text should be saved in the translation database. Using Select Elements, we can specifically select individual elements or a certain area in the drawing. If no elements are selected, all found texts from the drawing are imported by default. Additionally, we can define which element types should be taken into account. By default, the CAD Translator takes the text of all supported element types in the drawing into account. Using the checkboxes, individual element types can be activated or deactivated. This allows us to precisely control which text should be considered during the import. To start the process, we click Import. After the process has been completed, the CAD Translator displays a tabular overview of all found texts. In this overview, we can check the text and decide which entries should actually be added to the translation database. Once the selection is correct, we click Import again. This completes the process, and the selected texts are added to the translation database. Afterwards, we can switch back to the administration section and enter the corresponding translations there. The sync function is used to synchronize the current state of a translation database if it is not stored locally on your computer. This is especially useful when multiple users work with a shared database, for example, via a network drive or a central storage location. Once the database has been set up, we can translate a drawing. To do this, use the Translate function in the CAD Translator ribbon. Before the process starts, a settings dialog opens. Here you define how the drawing should be translated. First, you select the source and target language. The CAD Translator then uses the translations from the database to replace matching text in the drawing. If you also want to use DeepL, select the appropriate DeepL language here as well. With the automatic DeepL translation option, this function is activated and texts that are not yet available in the database are translated automatically. Using Select Elements, you can define which elements of the drawing should be translated. If you select specific objects, only those elements are taken into account. Otherwise, the entire drawing is translated. In addition, you can define which element types should be translated. By default, the CAD Translator translates the text of all supported elements in the drawing. Using the checkboxes, you can activate or deactivate individual element types. Once all settings are correct, start the translation process. The CAD Translator now searches the selected elements or the entire drawing for translatable text. Found texts are replaced based on the translation database. If automatic DeepL translation is enabled and a text is not available in the database, the CAD Translator can additionally try to translate this text using DeepL. After the process is complete, you should check the result in the drawing. Thank you for watching. You can find further information on the CAD Translator help page. If you have any questions about setup, licensing, or usage, please feel free to contact us at any time.